So I wake up, I check the social media timeline, see what's happening, and we're getting to the point of the season where the NBA, the rumors, all that. Of course, Jimmy Butler is the top of the list, and he always will be that guy. I want no part of Jimmy Butler. And if I'm the Houston Rockets, who have a very bright future, I don't think that it would be better. I really just
No.
don't think that's the right move for them. I don't know who would really work with Jimmy Butler. Maybe the Mavericks, but I think you're rolling the dice. This guy's just too much of a head case, making $50 million, and he's not happy. He's getting suspended, wearing the other team's shoes, just some ridiculous stuff. A guy that you do not want on your team in your locker room, represent your franchise, and I'll say it straight faced. But we understand how these things work. When you could shoot very well, people will roll the dice on you, take a shot. I did not think that the Sixers would be doing anything. I thought this would be a moment they're sitting on their hands for the trade deadline. But now I'm seeing from Vincent Goodwill from Yahoo Sports floating out the idea that there are hush discussions between the Sixers and the Heat, and it revolves around Paul George for Jimmy Butler straight up.
Yeah, so I would say I think it is a extremely unlikely chance that this does happen. If you're talking yourself into this is the selling point. From the Sixers' perspective, if this is the direction they choose to go, this is not a move in that I believe Jimmy Butler is the difference maker to winning a championship. What it would be is kind of a safety valve to we can get off the next 3 years of Paul George's contract. If you view it as we take one shot at this with Jimmy Butler, maybe he can, get Joel Embiid fired up and back on the floor or whatever, then you have this one season go all in and then kind of let him walk at the end of the year. Or in the other situation, which you do hand him this extension, which frankly, that would be worst case scenario for me. For everyone who has critiques about Paul George, the injury concerns, the age, guess what? They all apply directly to Jimmy Butler as well. And even if you want to make the case that we've seen playoff Jimmy in a way that we have not seen, I guess, playoff Paul George, because it's been at the opposite end of the spectrum there, the pushback that I would have to that is at least I know Paul George is not going to do this, what exactly Jimmy Butler is just doing there. So I don't really see an angle where it happens. Again, I think if they are looking that direction, it is much more motivated out of let's get off the rest of Paul George's contract rather than we directly want Jimmy Butler. But I don't think ultimately he ends up in Philadelphia. If I had to make a prediction, I would probably say Memphis or Milwaukee is probably the spots that he does end up.
Wow, Milwaukee. Interesting stuff there. So Jimmy Butler and everything that's taking place down in Miami, like for Paul George, and like you said, that tells you it's a sell now because Jimmy would be done after this season.
Yes, and he wants an extension. That's the root of all this. Despite Jimmy always dressing it up as his basketball joy or his frustrations with coaching, rolling the offense, however he wants to phrase it, the bottom line is it comes down to money and always does with Jimmy. That's why this is happening. He did not get the extension this offseason. Pat Riley was very open about saying, we need to see you on the floor more often and more frequently if we're going to even consider that. And obviously, that has not proven to be the case. So that's kind of why we have this blow up. And this is the final year of his contract. He does have a player option for next year. It would not shock me if this entirely drags out, if Jimmy pulls a James Harden move where he opts into the player option and then continues with these trade requests. But a long ways until we get to that spot, too.
Yeah, when horses out there, I think we've all been saying this now for the last few weeks that he will get traded. It's going to happen.
This is a little bit of, the immovable object versus unstoppable force here. If Pat Riley's got his heels equally dug in, then I'm not taking, the pennies on the dollar or what your value isn't. So I think this specific altercation or situation, however you want to word it, has more of a chance of extending than most cases. But I still think the more likely outcome is that he's moved and, they just want to wash their hands of this problem here.
It's just amazing to me that Jimmy doesn't realize how bad he looks and all this, or he doesn't care. I'm sure
doesn't care, I think is it. Yeah.
He just looks so bad. And from a guy that already was having somewhat of a reputation issue over the years, this is just, now it's just icing on the cake. And there aren't too many people that'll be singing Jimmy Butler's praises after this whole saga has ended, regardless of where he ends, regardless if it will end up with a ring, regardless. It's just, this is ridiculous. But we'll see. Again, Sixers being floated out there as a potential suitor. I don't know. Why not? Why not?
Is Jimmy Butler or James Harden the trade request GOAT? Because I've gone back and forth here. We have not seen Jimmy Butler fly to China to call Daryl Morey a liar in front of a bunch of children. But we've seen the fat suit James Harden where he puts on weight. But Jimmy does, man.
Wow.
The frequency and the rate at which he does this, I do think that might give him the leg up. I think I lean Jimmy Butler being
I do too.
Yeah.
I go Jimmy as well. And it might be something with the recency bias, and it's just now it's on our mind. Oh, by the way, James Harden seems pretty happy in LA.
Playing well, very well.
He's got paid, got his money. Whatever. Jimmy, though, not happy in Miami, wants out. As far as like the right move for the Sixers, what's the right move for the Sixers in your mind?
It's hang in there still. It's I think these next couple weeks, and I know we've been saying this for kind of a while now, but we'll see. Like the bottom line is they're still a game out or a game and a half after the Bulls won last night out of the last seed in the play-in tournament. The battle that's going on right now is obviously that draft pick is top 6 protected. So in order for it to be worth it of this being a wash in the season, you really got to get there and take advantage of that, to add an Ace Bailey, to add a Cooper Flagg, even though that's a long shot, the Dylan Harpers, these guys that are real deal talents in college basketball. It is a talented draft class that is coming out here. But I think the more likely outcome is that this team is too good to be as bad as the Washington Wizards or Portland Trailblazers or Utah Jazz. When you think about it from that perspective, you're really not going to have a legitimate run at some of these guys. So you kind of might as well go for it. So I don't think there's going to be this all-in splash or this final push at the deadline the way we kind of expected and I expected heading into this year. But I think it is going to be more of a sit on your hands and hope you have a chance come play in tournament time.